南无本师释迦牟尼佛。
南无本师释迦牟尼佛。
Okay, we say hi to each other. Okay. Well, again,
Hello.
the additioner, Mr. Leong, as the additioner, the definition of Mahayana, always remember that is Madhyamika Yoga Achara. That is the real definition of Mahayana in Indian. Okay, remember. So don't think that what you see in the layman Buddhist or association is Mahayana. Because some people will think of chant some sutra, being vegetarian, bound to the repentance, or the thought is Mahayana. No, this is not the definition. The real definition is Madhyamika and Yogacara. Okay, so we follow this definition. Then you will be very clear. Okay. So
Thank you.
yeah, welcome. Okay, so we continue to the previous lesson. Right. Okay. Yeah, class. Okay, let's take a look. So, class, basically, we are in the Dharma comments to the distinctive Dharma of the great vehicle. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, not much thing lah. 227. Okay, so class, take a look. See, where were we? Okay. Yeah, we are still in this paragraph. Okay. So in the previous lesson, we are in this part, the three gates of the great vehicle. So we got three gates. Okay, three gates meaning to say that there must be the body chitta, body mind, the great compassionate, and one more is the wisdom. As what Mr. Leong add in. I mean, it's the blessing of Mr. Leong, okay, to our newly enrolled student. Not the newly enrolled, he come back actually. Yeah, that is the three gates, as we mentioned. This is so important in the Mahayana. Okay, so basically we emphasize on the sutra of Mahaprajna Paramita, okay, it's about which mentions about the three gates. Okay, then yeah, that's for the previous lesson. Okay, so Mr. Leong, you try to read it out. If let's say you found the Wi-Fi not good, just off the camera. It must be said. Yes. On the mic, please, Mr. Leong.
It must be said, however, that the main skillful means to become a Buddha is the non-attaining wisdom that comes from emptiness. If one is attached to the phenomena, no matter what, one will not reach the ultimate. In the great vehicle Dharma, all three gates are equally important, and one of them cannot be lacking. But the Great View Sutras do have different emphasis. They may emphasize body-mind, or the great compassionate mind, or the non-attaining prajna. Each takes its own teaching as the most important. Each relies on its own particular emphasis to teach skillfully. Although beginners have emphasized a particular one, they should not neglect the others. These three minds, present throughout all the practices of the great vehicle, are similar to the three virtues of Confucianism: wisdom, benevolence, and courage. The three are superior qualities of humankind: superior ability to recall, superior pure conduct, and superior tolerance. Confucians emphasizing the right deeds of the human vehicle, reveal the virtues that permeate the human vehicle: wisdom, benevolence, and courage. The great vehicle Dharma fundamentally emphasizes relying on the human vehicle to enter the Buddha way directly. Thus, like the Confucians, it revealed three virtues. Number one, the unsurpassed and ultimate vow, Bodhi mind. Two, universally impartial sympathy, that is kindness and compassion. And three, the ultimate thorough wisdom that comes from the Dharma, emptiness wisdom. These are all requisite virtues common to all the great will deeds. The practice of the great will Dharma enables human nature to be purified or distilled, allowing the virtues to develop harmoniously and reach completion. When one becomes a Buddha, the Bodhi mind becomes the virtue of the Dharmakaya. The compassionate mind becomes a virtue of liberation, and the wisdom that comes from the emptiness of things become the virtue of prajna.
Okay, thank you so
The
much.
Tathagata hidden.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Off the mic, please, Mr. Liang. Thumb out once you finish. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I would like to interview you all banana. During your study times, are you exposed to the teaching of a Confucianism? Were you exposed to it? No. So basically, because English act people, they will expose you to the Shakespeare rather than Confucianism. Am I right? Am I right? So must be the Western or the Western scholar than the Eastern. Okay, class. Basically, if you are not familiar with the Confucianism, you won't feel much interest. Because the reason is the author tried to do the comparison. Confucianism is very common in China. Basically, in China, Buddhism, Taoism and the Confucianism, they are the local culture. Okay, well, the Chinese Buddhism, it comes later. Okay, so you remember we always talk about this about 4th century. So they start to coming. Why? Because the king, especially during in the very early stage, China had been conquered. The mainland of the China had been conquered by the nomad. The nomad. All right. Well, once the nomad they try to after conquering the China, they noticed that they need a culture to unite all together. So they choose Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism finally had been integrated, become partial of the Chinese culture. You can't segregate it already. Well, if you go to trace, if you try to trace back, actually the king how should I pray it out? A king uses religions in order to control the public. But anyway, the king itself also take refuge. So the monk knows that they have to work together with the king. There's some politics involved. So basically the monk accept the king. Okay. Then and also they try to to convince because Buddhism need kings in order to be popular in the China. Why? Because we are not the local culture. We are not local culture. So after quite a long time, I can't say how long is it now. Finally, we successfully integrate, become partial of the Chinese culture. So until now, you can't take out Buddhism from the Chinese. Okay, so that is why it is so important. Well, it is not easy for the integration. There will be some contradiction. Because in Chinese, filial piety is the foremost. Okay, without you are the major offenses is without offspring. Okay, but for Buddhism, we always compliment for renunciation. Am I right? So that is the most major conflict in the very beginning. So finally, the Buddhism, the monk, they are very smart. So they try to have some new idea that while renunciation is the biggest filial piety, because you are not filial piety to the present mother, but you are filial piety to all mother, from the many life and past life, many life. So this is what the Buddhism have to do to reinterpret certain concept so they can integrate with the Chinese. Okay, so that's why the author try to emphasize sometimes you don't realize that without the comparison. I think 3 of you, 4 of you, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong will see the difference of the Chinese culture elements within the Buddhism more strong if you used to go to Theravada. Because once you visit the Theravada, you come back to the Mahayana Buddhist Association, you will see so much different. The difference are predominantly from Chinese culture. And Chinese culture also a big portion are from Taoism culture. Okay. So just a very simple example. Let's take a look. Let me show you what does it mean Taoism culture. You will notice, you surprisingly discover that all this thing is already how should I inseparable from the Chinese Buddhism already. Okay, let's say I try to put Tao Qiao. I try to clear Taoism. Let's take a look, especially the hardware part. There's a lot of integration. You will see it. Okay, so this is not much different. We don't see that, but you see, how is the costume? Okay, do you notice that? Okay, now the Buddhism, the costume, is some sort with this, right? They're wearing in this. You see, this type of costume is a Chinese costume. You see, our Bodhisattva also wear in this way, right? Okay, well, it is quite impossible. All the Bodhisattva original from Indian. This is not an Indian style of culture or costume, right? Okay, then let's take a look. You see how. Now you see, this is a Taoism temple, but now in Chinese, all the Buddhism temple architecture is in this way. You see, okay, then besides, let's take a look. You see, this is a Taoism ceremony. You see, you notice that a lot of Chinese Buddhism, the way they conduct the ceremony is quite similar with the Taoism. Sometimes you even can't tell who copy who. You see, sometimes you even can't tell. So this is Taoism, the Dharma instrument. You see, this is the bell. You see, the bell. You see, you feel a lot of similarity with this. You see, then fan bai. This is a Taoism chanting. See, you can't say the difference. You see, Taoism do this, but we also do this. We also use this type of things. You see, including the wood fish, all the bell, all this stuff. And now even what you see, how we write the white paper and yellow paper, actually all from Taoism culture, you know. You see, why you can say so because like Mr. Leong, if you go to Theravada, you don't see all this. Why? Because this is a Chinese culture. But Chinese monks, they're very smart, you know. When they come out, they know in order to tap the market, the local market. So they try to absorb all this red paper and yellow paper, but they replace their God with our Chinese Buddha. Actually, for the 消灾延寿, for the longevity, they will bow to they call 北斗, one of the god. The god is for longevity. So they replace it with our medicine Buddha. And then the 超度法会, we are using 地藏菩萨, right? But in Taoism, they have their own god, you know. So we replace it. So meaning to say that Chinese monks, they are very smart. I don't know whether it's a Chinese monk or Indian monk. They know very well. So they just they never go against with the Chinese culture, and then they do some change. So finally integrate together. It happens in Japan, you know. Class, you know, Japan, the king of the Japan, there was once tried to destroy the Buddhism in the Japan because they are too strong, the influence. But finally they noticed they can't. Why? Because the Japan monk, they're so smart. They try to integrate very strong in the local Japanese culture. So if you want to demolish the Buddhism culture, you will destroy the Japanese culture at the same time. So finally, they can't do anything. So until now, Buddhism still is the strongest influence in Japan, you see. So that is what our senior, they are very smart to do something. So for Confucians, there's a few value emphasized here. Let's take a look. One is the ultimate vow, one is about the sympathy, and one is about the wisdom through the dharma. It's quite the same thing for Confucianism. Okay. Let me see first. Okay, in Confucianism, there's one proverb which is so famous. Okay, let me check whether the banana heard about that. He say, if three people they walk together, one of them must be your teacher. Have you heard about this proverb? 三人行必有我师焉. Okay, Mr. Leong, yes. Oh, okay. Actually, you know, okay, Sally, can you, Sally, why, should I know why did your parents send you to the English education rather than the Chinese? Sally, why?
I was registered in the Chinese school, but my cousin, my uncle wanted the daughter to study English and want me to, two of us got companionship. So I was sent together.
Shall I know, is there anyone being sent to the English educations due to the future better working perspective? Because you are able to work in the government sector, and at that time, LCE with the $200 earning is a very big sum. Is this the reason for Elena and also Mr. Leong? Your parents sent you there? Yes, all right. Do you know or not? The British do the same thing in Sri Lanka in order to try to deplete, to threaten the influence of the Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Okay, during the colonization of the British, Portuguese, and Holland in Malacca, it happened same time in Sri Lanka. And this time, all the Westerners, they're very smart. They know the influence, especially in Sri Lanka, is very strong. So in order to make more population, send the children to the school, to their education and turn them become a Christian, one is the best way is if you graduate from their secular education, you are able to work in the government department and get a good pay. But if you study in the monks monk school, finally you don't have all this. So this is what the British tactic, you see. They're so smart, because recently I just studied the history of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. But of course, they do contribute, because with the assistance, we see they build up the road, the transportation system, they set up all the factory. We can't totally deny the contribution from the Westerner, but they, at the same time, they destroy your culture because they want to make Christian more popular. So they establish a lot, right? All the school we teach this. Whereas St. Michael's School, Abbot Mary in Ipoh, what does it mean? Oh, it's a Christian school, they try to convert you all, you see. So this is their tactic. So there's a pros and cons during the colonization of the Westerner. So they do the same thing also, okay. Well, anyway, since you all study, English Act, then you have a better higher education. I think generally people will think that English Act people, they are more highly educated. Am I right? English Act people, they are more highly educated. Basically, people, they have the perception. Okay, so this is a little bit history behind the tactics. Okay, let's take a look. That's only. Okay, so Sally, your turn to read. The Tathagata Hidden Treasury.
The Tathagata hidden treasury of the three virtues is the highest completion of the virtuous conduct of human life. The true meaning of the great vehicle is not at all similar to the small vehicle practices, which are inclined towards reclusiveness, or to the divine vehicle practices, which have an esotericism about them. The true meaning of the great vehicle is actually this: human life heading towards the ultimate. Human beings become Buddhas. The three cumulative precepts, Bodhisattvas, places of learning, having the 10 good deeds as the foundation, are included in the three cumulative precepts, which are the 7 classes of classes disciples can keep. Only the great vehicle way is the course of practice for the Bodhi mind. Resolution to attain Bodhi has the great vehicle faithful vow as its essence. It is the same as taking refuge in the great vehicle. When making the resolution to attain Bodhi, one has to take refuge in the great vehicle first. This does not mean taking refuge for a single lifetime. Rather, it means taking refuge from this day until attainment of enlightenment in the Buddha Dharma and the Sangha of Bodhisattvas who never regress. Vowing to attain Bodhi, one vows to use all one's good roots to attain the unsurpassed great Bodhi just like the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, saving those who have not been saved, liberating those who have not been liberated, consoling those who are disturbed, and enabling those who have not attained nirvana to do so. This is also the ultimate meaning of the common form of taking refuge. From today and until my death, I will protect living beings. Theoretically speaking, taking refuge is the expression of the vow of faith. One attains the precept in reliance upon taking refuge. Further, transmissions of the five precepts, etc., serve only to deepen one's understanding of the specifics of the precept. Under the Tathagata's skillful and gradual teaching, however, there were some disciples who took refuge but did not accept the precept.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. So class, let's take a look. Okay, basically, once we talk about the Buddhahood, finally we try to attain the Tathagata virtues. Okay, we call it behind our within our living being. This is quite different from the reclusiveness. Okay, I highlight the point. Reclusiveness is from the small vehicle, and one more is exoterism is from the Tibetan Buddhism. He says it's quite different. Then from here it comes to the verses. The next verses is emphasized on a few things. Number one, then deeds. Okay, class, remember then good deeds. Why the 10 good deeds have been emphasized? The reason is no matter there is no matter the availability of the Buddha or not, then good deeds are the safeguard for all the living beings. So class, you know or not? 10 good deeds is so important. According to the Mahaprajnamita Sutra, even though we don't see any Buddha, 10 good deeds will safeguard and make sure that all the living beings act accordingly. Okay, so the 10 good tips. And one more is a 3 cumulative precept. 3 cumulative precept meaning to say that it's the inclusive of all the Vinaya, so that we really benefit all the people. You see, class, just now, once we talk about the Buddhahood, we have to make 4 great vows. Remember, 终身无边誓愿度. You see, I mean to say the unlimitedness of the beings, so you have to save them. 烦恼无尽誓愿断. The countless of the defilement, we have to try to cut it. Okay, 法门无量誓愿学. I mean the illimitable of the Dharma door, you have to learn all. Okay. Then 佛道我生誓愿成 unsurpasses of Buddhism, of Buddhahood, you have to try to attain it, you see. So once we talk about the Buddhahood, this 4 vow is unavoidable. You have to really to understand this. So let's take a look. So this is the meaning here. Okay, class, can you check? Okay, and then one more point is if you try to make a vow, basically the vow, they have their own expiration. Okay, Elena, how about the trip? How to say? How should I put it? How about the triple? How about taking refuge? How long is the effectiveness of taking refuge? Elena, how long is it? The time, the effectiveness.
Effectiveness.
Yes, the effective of the precept. Once you undergone the virtue, how long it takes?
How long does it stay with me? You mean after
Yeah. I mean, it affects you, When? What's the time? What's the span of the time? What's the span of the time?
I took my refuge in.
No. I mean, after you're taking the refuge, how long it takes? How long for it to expire? You see, like 8 precept, just 1 day, 1 night only, you know. 8 precept, 1 day, 1 night, then it will expire by itself. How about the taking refuge? How long?
Expire by itself?
Yeah, when will it expire? You don't understand my question. Okay, Mr. Leong, how long it takes?
I think it takes a lifetime,
Yes, it's a lifetime. Okay, right. How about the 5 precept? How long is it? 5 precept. How long is it?
Same as long as.
Yeah.
Yes.
The whole lifetime. All right. Okay, 8 precept.
Same.
Okay, what? No, 8 precept 1 day, 1 night only. It will expire automatically. 8 precept is 1 day, 1 night, not the whole life. So you see in Theravada, if you stay in the Theravada temple, they will keep on, repeat every day, the rituals. All right. So how about the bhikkhu bhikkhuni? How long is it? Bhikkhu bhikkhuni?
Lifetime.
Yeah, also lifetime. Okay, how about the bodhisattva? How about the bodhisattva?
Eternal.
Before they are forever.
Yeah, not forever until you become Buddhahood, you know.
Yeah, forever. Even Buddha also, you still keep the precepts.
You see, okay. What I want to go one by one to you, because to make you feel that how should I put it? It is so sublime, for this type of precept, you see. Even better than any of the preservative, right? Basically, the food, how long you can preserve, maybe just maybe 1 week, 1 year, 10 years. No food preservative can preserve the food for 10 years, right? But for this bodhisattva precept, it can preserve you until you become Buddhahood, Wow, so wrong, is it? So we need to say that in the next life, even though you might be right? You're forgetful, right? Okay. But anyway, since you make a vow, one day, once you met somebody, okay, somehow you met somebody, then you will be triggered that, oh, you make a vow for become the bodhisattva before, then you will continue the bodhisattva vow. Why? We can prove it. There's one Theravada monk who practiced meditation in Sri Lanka. No matter how hard he was, he cannot attain the arahantship. Okay, so he reported to his teacher and his acharya used a psychic to check. So after the verification, after the checking, the teacher noticed that he made the bodhisattva vow before in many lives ago. So what the bhikkhu do, he tried to give up the vow. After giving up the vow, then he attained the arahant already, immediately. See or not? The bodhisattva vow will prohibit you from attaining arahantship. Because once you become the sotapanna, there are only 7 lives for you. You just have a remaining residue of the 7 lifetime only, It's not enough for being Buddhahood, it's not enough. So the vow will prohibit you. So the only thing you do is you have to give up your vow. Once you give out the bodhisattva vow, immediately, if your vipassana is mature, you become the sotapan immediately. So class, you get it? Basically, we think about this vow is some people they just use the merit just to lure you or tempt you or to go to take vow because the merit is so good, but they don't realize that actually how strong the impact to you. They don't realize that. It can really, let's say the bhikkhu didn't met his teacher, his acharya, who possessed the psyche. Maybe he just keep on the meditate for the whole life. Also don't know why the vipassana cannot mature. You see, luckily he met his teacher. Well, this case is quite famous, in the meditation. Circle. Most of people they know it very well. It happened in Sri Lanka just recently only, within the 10 years only. You see, okay. Yeah, Elena. Any question?
You said the bodhisattva vow is the Pusa Jie, so Pusa Jie.
Yeah, Pusa Jie. Oh, okay. It's so powerful and so strong, you see. Okay. So that is what we mentioned here. So this is the whole life. Okay, if without giving up, so it will just continue following you only. Okay. Well, anyway, if let's say you regret, you are able to just give up the 3 precepts until to the bhikkhu or a bhikkhu precept. But I think it's preferably I don't want to teach you how to give it up. If you really need to give up, then you ask me. I don't want to tell you not good because so Buddhists are so less already. You see, we are not as aggressive as a Christian. Keep on just to recruit more people. So better you don't let you know. But if let's say you got 5 precepts, you want to give out maybe one of it due to difficulty to observe it. All right. So I will tell you the know-how just to give up. The precept so that you feel comfortable with the other 4. You see, what happened now? Okay, you know what happened recently? The High Court declared that Christian they eligible to use the Allah, Baidullah, a few words. You see, why? Because during our constitution stated quite clear that none of us can convert to Islam. They can. They can recruit more people. They can turn more people become Muslim, but no people can turn them become the Muslim, you see. So they're very protective, you see, in under our constitution, you see. So we need to say they try to, so the High Court judgment is surprising, you see. But now they go to appeal again to the appeal court. Why? Because they are so protective. So it makes a Muslim, maybe after the next 5 years, the number of Muslim can more than, can surpass the number of a Christian. Whereas the Buddhism keep on lesser and lesser because everything we are so natural until just very few people only. Yeah, so you have to work harder, you see. You see, for Christian, everybody can become a preacher, you know. Everybody can become a preacher, you know. Nowadays, the direct sales we see, they learn from the Christian, you know. Direct sales, all get the skills from the Christian, you see. So we are so scared. We are so scared with the direct seller, right? Wow, because they're so aggressive, keep on calling you, come to see you. All this actually is a Christian method, you know. But whereas for Buddhism, everything is so natural. So end up we become like that. So I hope that everybody, all of you, you should be bear the responsibility. You should try, if possible, try to talk dharma, if possible, and recruit more students in ERT. Okay, you see. 4 people only. Luckily, we are able to enroll more new students. Go my to go say.
Sifu,
Yes.
quality is better than quantity. At least we all the 4 hardcores are still following you.
Yeah. But 4 people, one take leave, you feel so many people absent already. Preferably, there must be quantity and also quality. Both we must have so work harder a little bit. In Chinese, Tuesday, history of Buddhism class, I got about 60 students, because the member of them, they work hard to recruit more students. So I can reach a big quantity. From the quantity, I can get the quality, you see. You play the roles to recruit more people, not me, because you go out, you exposed to public, you see. So it is your roles, For me, I'm just staying in the earthy only and play badminton with all the Malay guy. I'm not daring to talk much. The Malay guy say, you want to convert me? Then they can call police to catch me, you see. Okay, just chat me, Okay, so this is about a single lifetime doesn't mean single lifetime. Taking the refuge at this day until the attainment of enlightenment. Please check for me the references number 26. This is the effectives of for the Bodhisattva vow. Yeah, what's the sutra? Footnote number 26.
Śrāmaṇera Divisampanada Sutra.
What are you reading? I think it should be Sanskrit. Sri Vimala.
No, Śrāmaṇera.
Srimala.
That's
all. Srimala.
No, Śrāmaṇera Divisampanada Sutra.
Yeah. It sounds awkward. All right. How about the 27?
Same thing.
Yes. What sutra is it?
SS.
SS. SS stands for what? Can you check for me?
S3.
SS is the Dharma Flower Sutra.
Dharma Flower Sutra.
Sutra.
Dharma Flower, okay, confirm. Sutra says, look, you see, saving those who haven't been saved, liberated those who haven't been liberated. So this is from Dharma Flower Sutra. And this one, the vow is take effect so long, is from the number 26. That sounds awkward. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get further. Okay. There were some disciples who took refuge but didn't accept the precept. Yes, we are a little bit different from Theravada. Basically, in Theravada, if you 3 precepts and the 5 precepts is a combo, right? Am I right, Mr. Leong and Theravada? It's a combo, right? 3 precepts and the 3 refuge and the 5 precepts is a combo, right?
Yes, correct.
It's a combo.
It's not separable. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's a combo. So for us, we can separate it. And even though the 5 precepts, we can separate. If you want to take one only, also good. Because we know this, especially for those who still running the business, it's very hard for you without lying, you see. I think all of you are quite lucky, you see. For Mr. Leong, school bus driving, and Elena, you are just handle the clerical work, even though Sally, before you handle clerical work, you no need to lie, right? Not necessary, right? Elena, your present job no need to lie, right? You just handle all the administration work, am I right? No need, right?
Sometimes it's not to say lie, but we talk it indirectly.
Elena, am I right? 1.6 will round become 2. Am I right? Or something like that. 1.8, you say, oh, there's a 2 just to convince the customer and something like that, right? But your boss might have involved some. We will do more. 1.6 become 2 in order to get customer, right? It's the boss or it's the salesman. Am I right? Am I right? You see, so meaning to say that we are quite lucky. So 5 precepts, I think it's okay for you to just observe fully, just observe fully the 5 precepts. But some career they cannot, especially involved in the sales department and also especially sales department, purchasing department also they use. Basically, people will try to seduce them. Purchasing department. Okay, so that's the things. So we just take things together. So Elena, your turn. Similarly.
Similarly, by taking refuge in the great vehicle and resolving to attain Bodhi, one receives Bodhisattva precepts by relying on Bodhi mind, and is then called the Bodhisattva. Later, when one receives the Bodhisattva precepts again, this additional transmission of the precepts serve only to deepen one's understanding of the specifics of the precepts. But through the skillful teaching and guidance of the Tathagata, in the great vehicle Dharma, there are those who make the resolution to attain Bodhi mind without receiving the Bodhisattva precepts. The scriptures say, however, that the body is strengthened by righteous deeds, and that without righteous deeds, one cannot attain Bodhi. One cannot become a Buddha only by having faithful vows. So after making the vow to attain Bodhi, one should go further and practice the righteous Bodhi deeds, the actions of the Bodhi mind, which means one should receive and maintain the places of learning of the great Bodhisattva. Bhikkhu's precepts are called Bhikkhu's places of learning, and Bodhisattva precepts are Bodhisattva's places of learning. The Bodhisattva precepts have 10 good deeds as their foundations. Not only does the learning of the beginning Bodhisattva start with the 10 good deeds, which is why they are called Bodhisattva of the 10 good deeds. Even Bodhisattva of 10 grounds practice the righteous 10 good deeds in great depth and extent. Making great resolution, it is said Bodhisattva of the 10 good deeds, apart from the sea of suffering of the 3 realms forever, besides being physically and verbally pure in the righteous deed, they have profound wisdom because they do not have deviant views. They have vast kindness and compassion because they are not angry. And they accomplish infinite samadhi because they are not desirous. These 10 good deeds, that are the basis of Bodhisattva precepts can be grouped into 3 cumulative pure precepts. 1. With regard to abandoning evil and preventing mistakes, they are called the rules and regulations precepts. 2. With regard to including all the good deeds, they are called the precepts that embrace the good dharma. 3. With regard to benefiting and saving all sentient beings, they are called the precepts that benefit sentient beings. In sum, the precepts of Bodhisattvas leave no evil uneliminated, no good thing undone, no sentient being unbenefited.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Okay, finish Mrs. Leong. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, class, basically for this paragraph, okay, we are known that number one, after making the vow, we have to enhance it by observing the precept. Okay, basically, class, there is a 7 category within the Buddhism: bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, śrāmaṇera, śrāmaṇeri, upasaka, upasaki, and also there's one more group, we call it as how should I put it out? There's one more group, I forgot the name already. Okay, so there's a 7 group people. So each of them, after observing all the bodhisattva precept, so the bodhisattva precept will be enhanced the present precepts. Okay, the present precept. Like bhikkhu precept, we got the bhikkhu precept originally, but if I make vows, if I take the bodhisattva vow again, so there will be addition of it. Okay. In conclusion, basically for all the bodhisattva, first, if there is any goods, you must try to cultivate it. Second, if there is any bad, you have to eliminate it. Third one, if there's an opportunity to save all the living beings, you have to save them. Class, in bodhisattva precept is quite different from the small vehicle precept. Okay, for example, if you try to go to the precept one by one, there's one clause in one's bodhisattva vow mentioned that by performing psyche, you are able to make people believe the Buddhism. You should manifest it. Okay, so class, remember before what we learned, you should hide your psyche. You shouldn't demonstrate it. Am I right? But in bodhisattva precept, no, they say if one you demonstrate that, you can make him believe in Buddhism, you should do it. If you don't do it, you are considered infringe the rules of the bodhisattva. And then there's one more rule, you might be surprised, it said, if you met a prostitution, by having sexual relationship with her and can make her believe to the Buddhism as a bodhisattva, you must do it. This is the clause in the bodhisattva precept, you see. So meaning to say, of course, this is not a normal bodhisattva. They have if you got the psyche, meaning to say you are not a normal people already. From here, we can notice that living being is more important by just observing the precept, the way we see from the bodhisattva. Do you get it? But anyway, if let's say, if your samadhi and vipassana is so strong enough, so maybe you are just, we say you are the bodhisattva made by the clay only. So once you try to cross the river, then you disappear already. So in order to become an effective bodhisattva, your samadhi and vipassana must be strong. Then you've got a psyche to perform, you see. So it's not that simple as we see. Basically now in Buddhism organization, people will say, they got so many excessive food, eat lah, pusa, right? Not so later we call it bodhisattva. The senior we call it lao pusa. You see, our definition is not that strict lah. Basically, this type of bodhisattva, the definition is so strict. Then you must possess all this type of ability to do well the bodhisattva job. See how. Okay, let's go and have a check. See what I missed out. Okay, class, take a look. You see from here. All right. By having the bodhi mind, all right, you're called as a bodhisattva. And then bodhi mind is not enough. There must be some righteousness to enhance it. Okay. One more is the place of learning. I found that the place of learning is awkwardly translated. I prefer go back to the Sanskrit word. Sikkhapada. Yeah, class, please copy down Sikkhapada. It's the place of learning. I think the translation is correct, but just I feel somehow awkward. Mr. Leong, in Theravada, how to translate Sikkhapada to English, Mr. Leong? Sikkhapada also mean the precept actually lah. Yeah, Mr. Leong, you know how do they translate Sikkhapada in English in Theravada? On the mic, please.
Sorry, Asifu, I don't know.
You don't know.
But it is a part of the precepts. Sikkhapada Viramani.
Please off your camera. You are playing piano notes.
Sikkhapada Viramani.
Yeah. So just I think place of learning seems not a very good translation now. So right here the Sikkhapada. Okay. Okay. Bodhi strengthened by the right. Can you check for me the reference number 28? Which one sutra is it? 28.
GT.
How what lah?
GT.
GT, what does GT stand for?
Great treatise.
Oh, great treatise. Yes. This is. I mean, this is. Yeah, this is the major references. Great treatise. 大智度论
大智度论.
大智度论 And then let's take a look. Bodhisattva of the 10 good deeds depart from the sea of suffering of the 3 realms forever. You see. So you see, 10 good deeds is so emphasis. Okay. Please check for me reference number 29. 10 good deeds is so emphasized here.
人王般若弥罗经.
人王般若弥陀经. Okay, class, this sutra especially for the king. Yeah, Buddha, I mean, say this sutra, he target king for this sutra. Okay, 人王 is the king, you know. So he talked to the king that how should you govern your country? So the 10 good deeds is the best way. So you can just write something. The sutra is for the king, target for the king. Maybe one day, let's say Elena, a king become your clients. Then you can talk to the king. So you will be constitutional wrong, Elena. You will be locked up for constitutional fault. You cannot talk this to the Muslim. You know that. Class, let's take a look at 3 cumulative pure precepts. Okay, as we know, 施正行 how should I call it 施正行 class, do you remember the Samatha? Remember the Samatha? Okay, Samatha. How should I? How to say, for great effort Samatha. Let's take a look. Samatha in English. Yeah, for right exertion. Class, this is something like a for right exertion, except one thing is to benefit in saving all the living beings. You see it not? It's quite like a for right exertion, but it includes saving all the living beings. Okay. I think without the compassionate, it's quite hard for you to make this vow, because everybody are so scary for the human issue, including Sally. Am I right? Or Sally retire also, you get frightened with all the human issue. Now you just deal with all the kicks and pastry better than deal with the human, right? Sally. So you see, Bodhisattva is difficult part. I think it's in the beginning, we try to eliminate all the wrong deed. I think not that easy. It's okay. You try to do all the good deeds. I think it's both of it. It's okay, you know. But you say save all the living being, you get frightened.
Not easy to say.
Steady, you are happily dealing with the cake, the pastry, rather than the human, right?
Yes.
Yes, I admit that lah, yes, Okay, now next, okay. So Mr. Leong, you can read it out, just without on the mic, lah, Mr. Leong, in the Sravaka Dharma.
In the Sravaka Dharma, there are differences in the rules and regulations, precepts for men and women, as well as for the Sangha and the lay community. The precepts are grounded into Upasaka precepts, Upasika precepts, śrāmaṇera precepts, Samanarika precepts, bhikkhu precepts, bhikkhuni precepts, and sikhamana precepts. Buddhist disciples are thus divided into 7 classes. In the Bodhisattva precepts, however, no differentiation is made between men and women or between the Sangha and the lay community, or rather there are only minor differences. So these precepts can be kept by all 7 classes of disciples. If one wants to receive the Bodhisattva precepts, one has to receive the corresponding precepts of one, a man who has received the 5 precepts, who receives the Samanarika, who receives the Bodhisattva precepts is called Sama Bodhisattva, and the bhikkhu is for the bhikkhu. With regards to the existing ones include the text of the Fanwang-Chin, Brahma-Net Sutra, said to have been translated by Kumarajaya, which lists the 10 serious and 48 minor precepts. The Osaka Sila by Dhammaraksa, which lists 6 serious and 28 minor precepts, and the Yogacarin Bodhisattva precepts translated by Master Xuanzang, which lists 4 serious and 43 minor precepts. The minor precepts are somewhat different from the different versions, but the serious precepts are generally the same. This is also true for those precepts mentioned in the Sukongchang Jing, Kitispa Gaba Sutra, the Pusa Ying Yi Jing Sutra of the original karma of bodhisattvas as a necklace of precious stones. The Mala Devi Sim Rockfish Sirimala China, Wang Qing resource for the Yogacarin Bodhisattva precepts, however, gives much more specific and extensive explanations of the behaviors that are permitted and prohibited, and whether violations are light or serious matters.
Thank you so much. Okay, class. Okay, basically, here is the 7th group of the disciple. Okay, just now I missed out is the 6th samana. Class, have I ever mentioned to you that 6th samana is the stage between it's a stage between the bhikkhuni and also the śrāmaṇeri. Remember? No, it's between the layman and also the śrāmaṇeri. Do you remember? Because some people that just after marry, then immediately they want to become a monk, a nun. Okay, but there must be enough period to check whether to check for her pregnancy. Remember, that is the 6th samana. Okay, or that is the stage. Okay, so according to here, if let's say class, like you are the layman, you are called upasaki. You are upasaki Sally. If you take the bodhisattva precept, you will become the bodhisattva upasaki bodhisattva. That is the way we express. So 7 class of people, no matter which class, you can add with the additional bodhisattva precept. And you will mention that, oh, I'm the bhikkhu bodhisattva. So we know that you are bhikkhu precept plus the bodhisattva precept. Okay, heavy rain, heavy downpour here. Same. Okay, next, let's take a look. Okay, once we talk about the bodhisattva precept, basically there's a few versions. Class, there's a few versions. Okay, but you always remember that the primary version is the Brahmanet. Is the primary version, but the most specific and most common version is the from Yogacharin version. Okay, nowadays people prefer the Yogacharin version because which is more practicable. Okay, whereas for Brahmajala from Brahmanet, sometimes the rules is too difficult to obey. The major rules are almost the same for all. But for the minor precept, they might be different for the bodhisattva. You got a major and you got a minor. Okay, and a class. So next time, if you go to observe the precept, I don't think you have a right to choose that. But basically nowadays, people prefer the Yogacharin, the Xuanzhuang version of the translation, which is more practicable. Because for some version, you say once your mind appeared. Anger is considered a major offense. Well, I mean, if you're feeling angry is something so common and easy and which is uncontrollable for us, but for some version is considered a major offense. It is not practical. So basically, I think the Yogacharin is the more practical one. Very heavy at the downfall. Okay, so let me check. I think class. Okay, that's all for today.